Yep. Excellent.
It looks like we are live. Clicking on the recording. Hello, everyone. Welcome to a sales training with Fernando Lopes. And today I have a special guest, Maria Rekrut. And she's an investor, a real estate investor, an entrepreneur, real estate coach, mentor. And today we're going to be talking about sales and the importance of sales in business and sales techniques. Usually we have a podcast that talks about real estate, and I asked her to help me out a little bit today as I start this new series of sales.
Excellent. I love it. I love it. Thank you for inviting me. I appreciate it, Fernando.
You're very welcome. You're very welcome, Maria. I've been studying some books on sales recently. One of them is from Alex Hormozi, the $100 million offers. And there's a tale in that book of a professor, economics professor, teaching his students. And I think it's regarding a person that has a hot dog cart. So a person that has a hot dog cart, and I think the professor asks a question, what is the most important thing for this hot dog cart owner to do in order to be successful? And the students came up with all kinds of answers, but none of them was what the professor was looking. The professor was looking for an answer more like that hot dog cart owner needs a starving crowd.
Yes. And you know what's really interesting? I happen to know years ago, I knew someone who had a hot dog stand. And I remember seeing him, and he placed himself, it was there for years, he placed himself in a position where all the people in that area were working. It was an industrial area, and he was selling to them. And he was doing that for years. So yes, they have to have a starving or people who that's what they want for, it's an inexpensive, nice meal, right? You know, let's say, like I see this on TV shows, they say, let's go and have a gourmet lunch, and it's just a hot dog, right? So, you know, anything can be gourmet, but I actually knew someone who was doing that. That's how he made his money.
Yes. And the metaphor here is that it matters what one sells, but what matters most is that there's a huge need. It's not just a need. It's actually the book, $100 million offers, talks about the word pain, pain, that the prospect or future client has a big pain that needs to be relieved. And for you, Maria, I see that in you offering your rooms for rent, in your houses for rent, that the people that come to you, they have this big need, right? They want to rent a place that's ready to go, furnished.
Yes. Furnished, all-inclusive rates, everything, Wi-Fi, sheets, pillowcases, everything is included. There are people, especially foreigners, who are moving into the country as new immigrants. They don't have anything with them, right? So yeah, I started offering that in 2000. That's 22 years ago, because I saw there was a need for it, right? And I'm going to say something else that I remember. I had a business in New York City. I think I told you that, Fernando, in 1982.
Really?
And
I didn't know that.
4 years. I was in New York City, and I had a business with my husband. I think I might have told you, but I've told you so many stories because I mean, I've been in business 40 years. So, you know, there's a lot of stories here. But I remember that the manager of the business said something very unique to me. He says, and he was talking about the salespeople. He says the salespeople have to be hungry to make good sales. And I thought that was really cruel, but now I understand, right? You have to be hungry in sales, that you have a dream that you have to fulfill, and you're hungry enough to put in the time and the hours to reach that goal. And I know you're doing it, and I've done it, and I'm still doing it, right? I'm hungry enough that I will put the effort in it, and I will get to my goals. Absolutely, in sales.
I love that.
Absolutely.
I love that. I once heard a quote that salespeople that are not, say, good salespeople, they have skinny kids.
Really?
Because the kids are not eating. They don't.
Okay,
there's not enough
that's
food.
good. That's good.
Just
Yeah,
something like that. I need to look up that quote. But yeah,
that's cute. I love it. I love it. It's true.
Yes. So I'm thinking here as I've been coaching some coaches in the area of sales, and
Mhm.
it's helping me to remember what I did well back, say, when I was buying houses, the last time I was buying houses before the last recession, at
Yes.
least
Yes.
in real estate.
Yeah.
And now it's helping me remember what worked well. And
Yes.
I remember having a second mentor, that the first mentor taught me about advertising and creating ads. And that helped. It
Very
helped.
important. That's very important. Yes.
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 And then the second mentor taught me this one thing called referrals.
Mm-hmm.
And that took my business from lots of doing to almost no doing, because I found one person that was sending me like 80% or more. Actually, 99% of the business started
Ah,
coming from one referral source, which was one CPA.
yeah. Aren't you lucky? You're very lucky you had that. No, you
Very.
are very lucky. I've never had that. And I've spoken to people, lawyers, contractors, even my accountant, bookkeeper. They didn't know anyone who needed, even the banks I spoke to. So you're very fortunate you had that. And I guess it depends on the time, right? And the kind of real estate that you're looking for. Yeah, you are very fortunate. Now, have you got in touch with that person again to find out if he's a good source of referral for you?
No, and I will. And the reason I haven't is because she is in the Orlando area.
Okay.
And I've, even though I love that area back between 2004 and 2010
Hmm.
to buy houses, buy and hold, and have rentals there, I want to explore other areas.
Sure.
Um, because I have this gut feeling, something about the 1% rule,
Hmm.
houses that I can buy for say $100,000 that I can rent for $1,000 a month,
Yes.
or $200,000 that I can rent for 2,000 a month. And Orlando is no longer that type of city.
Yeah.
The
Yeah.
prices have risen.
Yes.
Um, so, and one thing that I also like to mention, Maria, and to everyone listening here, is that there was the reason I believe she was sending me clients. It was two. Number one, it was raising her status.
Sure. Nothing wrong with that.
It was raising her status because back then, as a tax preparer, she started realizing that the people that were having pre-foreclosures, let's say they owed $1 million on a loan, and now the house is worth half, so 500, and they're selling the house for 500,000. The tax laws back then was such that the debt that was forgiven, so $500,000 forgiven of debt, needed to have income taxes paid on the $500,000 of the debt that was forgiven.
That was forgiven. Oh my
Yeah,
goodness.
so that's a large bill. And President Obama then passed a bill into law that called the Mortgage Forgiveness Act, or the
Hmm.
Mortgage Debt Forgiveness Act.
Hmm.
And in my short sales, in my dealings with the people that were losing their homes, I had my attorneys make sure that as we bought the houses, the lenders would then not issue what was called a 1099C, I believe it was, which would
Okay.
be kind of like telling the IRS or the tax, the IRS that, hey, this person now has this liability. So we made sure that her clients didn't have that. So we
Okay.
raised her status.
Sure.
And plus, we did pay her also a referral fee.
Well, of course you would. I mean, that makes sense. But you know what? She helped you along and she helped her clients along, which should be a win-win. I really believe in win-win no matter what kind of business you're in. I want it to be a win-win situation. Even working with you. You give me, I give you. It's a win-win. It's not I take everything and I give you nothing in return. I've never lived by those rules. I've always lived by the rules that you help me, I help you, and that means it keeps going, right? That relationship will keep going. And I think you'll agree, what I'm finding is too few people even thank you for anything that you've done for them. And they don't seem to realize that the way to the future is not to burn your bridges. Like when I was growing up, they say never burn your bridges. You never know. You'll see them, like they say to you, you'll see them going up, and you'll see them when you're coming down. And everyone will go up, and everyone will come down at different levels, right? You never know what's around the corner.
I love that. I love that a lot. And Maria, can you remember a time where you did something in sales that worked really well and you were pleasantly surprised, and something that you can share with anyone listening or watching?
Oh yeah, I think it was the deal I made in the United States. So my husband was a physician at that time, and he was doing medical exams for an insurance company. I was just new in the country, and I was working as a secretary. I had just finished in Europe. I had gotten my master's degree in voice. I'm a musician, right? And until
I didn't know that, Maria.
Yeah. Why, are you a musician too?
Yeah, I am. I'm a singer.
Oh my God, we're both singers. We'll have to sing along sometime.
We did so, yes.
You know what I'm finding? A lot of entrepreneurs are actually musicians. Actually, a lot of them, right? And I always said the new way of doing business now is art mixed with business. That's my quote. The new way of doing business in the 21st century is that. So anyways, so we started working for this company. I was in the office, and my husband was doing exams all over Queens, Long Island, Manhattan, Bronx, you name it, right? And then at one point we heard, because I was in the office, I heard that they had just lost their manager in Long Island and Queens. So I went to the manager. I was just in the business 6 months, right? In the office, I said to my husband, I said, you know what? Let you and I take over Long Island and Queens. So I went and spoke to the manager, and I said, look, my husband and I would like to take over Long Island and Queens. You know how good we are. We work here. We've done a really good job. He says, well, I'll let you speak to the owner of the company who's coming up from Dallas. I said, okay. So here I go. I was 31 years old, maybe 32 years old. And we met him, and we had dinner with the owner of the business, my husband and I, and we sat and we chatted. And I said, I want you to give us a chance. I know we can do it. We've proven that we've done it in Manhattan, Long Island, and Queens. I'm in the office. My husband is a physician. He does the medical exams, and we have another team that we can bring on, right? We know. He says, sure, I'll give you a chance.
Wow.
I was 32 years old. Just think about that, right? And I was gutsy enough to talk to the guy, and I got it. I'd never met the guy before. So I think that was when I really realized, but I didn't even think of myself as a really good salesperson. Like just, I could see they needed something, and I was able to do it because I've always been the type that I learn as I do. You know what I'm saying? Like they say, just throw yourself in there and learn as you're going. I did that since I was a kid. So yeah, I think that was the biggest surprise. Now, how about yourself, Fernando? What was the biggest surprise?
I think, for me, let's see, in sales, I want to say the referral part, because I went from advertising on street corners, paying people to place signs that said stop foreclosure, we buy houses cash, or placing ads on newspapers back, when people read newspapers. So you went to moving towards a referral-based marketing. That was really surprising to me. Like, I was like, this is amazing. So I since then have been feeling like that's like a gold mine. Even though I do follow some marketing teachers such as Frank Kern, who's all about, creating an irresistible offer and then buying lots of ads, and making money fast, because he thinks like, because when the offer works, one can put $10,000 into ads on Facebook and make $20,000 in one day. So it's like he calls it.
I don't believe that. I don't believe that at all. Sorry. I don't believe that at all.
It probably happened once every maybe 10,000 or once every 1,000 tries,
Yeah. Yeah, but that's the unfortunate thing, Fernando, that people think that's true. And I know, and you know through sales, that's not true. You have to build a following, right? I mean, you can spend a lot of money advertising, and most businesses at the beginning can't afford that. You
True.
know, I couldn't. So I went out and I built relationships like you did. And I'm still building relationships. So that's easier to do that. And I think the only people that make money with, saying things like that are people who are in the advertising field and they want you to buy their program. So you'll pay them $10,000. So you put your ad. There's no, if they can't guarantee I'm going to make a $10,000 sale, I'm sorry, I'm not putting $10,000 down. I'm kind of tough that way, right? Because for me, $10,000 is a lot of money. I can put it towards buying another property.
Yeah, and having
See, I'm very practical, right? I'm very practical that way.
yeah, and the word you just used there, a guarantee.
I
Like if
need a
you cannot
guarantee.
guarantee, and that's a word that from that book, The $100 Million Offers, it's one of the chapters. It's one chapter only on guarantees. How if when an offer has certain types of guarantees, it helps the sale go through
Yes.
by
Yeah.
giving the client guarantees
Sure.
and the
Sure.
types of guarantees. So I was fascinated by I thought guarantees was mainly 100% money back guarantee. But
Yeah,
no, there are maybe 5 or 6 types of guarantees
exactly.
uh,
Yes.
in
Yes.
in that book. And one of them, I think the one that I liked the most was, we will work with you until you get the results. We work for free until you
Yes.
get the results.
Now that I like, and that I can live with, right? And I think, like your series now about sales, I think you can almost guarantee that if they pay attention and take some of the strategies you suggest, that they will be guaranteed to make some money. They can't hold you responsible, because if you're going to take a course like you have, I know you have your courses, and they don't put any work into it, well, you can't guarantee they're going to be successful. And what I've noticed now in a lot of the shows, and certainly because I'm in crypto also in real estate, is that they say this is not financial advice. You have to be careful with that, because I know that some people in real estate, these big guys in the past that said, okay, I guarantee this, right? That they have been sued, Fernando, because the people are so stupid to really believe that they're going to guarantee you're going to make your sales, you're going to make as much money as they do. Like, that's ridiculous. That's even to say that to somebody, just say, you know what? I can help you along. I know from my own strategy as a real estate investor that I would never put anyone in harm's way, either buying a property or getting a tenant. That's my strategy. I'm really good at getting good tenants, right? I can guarantee you, if you take my steps, you're not going to get a bad tenant, because those are the steps I take. And I'll sit down with you and I'll work through 6 weeks with you and make sure that you get the right person. I can guarantee that because I'm doing it already. But if you're not going to do exactly what I say, I can't guarantee. That final decision is yours, whether it's in sales for you, whether it's buying real estate, whatever it is self-sovereignty is someone who makes the full decision of their money, their real estate, their sales, whatever it is, and don't blame anyone else if it doesn't work out. Very important.
They're taking responsibility.
Yes. Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, I like that a lot.
Yeah.
And it's taking me back to, say, 2009, when I found myself in a room of teachers who sold, some of them were my mentors, but then in the room I was in, now we were peers.
Mm-hmm.
We were peers, and we were creating alliances on how we could create joint ventures. Since I was doing so well as a student, I was invited to then go on tour and go on stages and
Yes.
teach what I was doing.
Nice.
In regards to applying, I called it the 5-hour work week, which, I love the book, The 4-Hour Work Week, and I was applying it to real estate. So it was like the 5-hour work week through real estate. But I asked them one question. I asked them, what is the success rate of the people that have come through your courses or have invested in your mentorship? Do you know what they told me?
1%.
They told me between 1 and 5%.
Yeah, that's it. That's it. Very
So
few. Very
yeah,
few.
very few. So I told them, well, if the success rate is 1 and 5%, and they're investing anywhere from, say, $3,000 to $50,000 for a yearly
Yes.
program, wouldn't it be relevant to say filter the people that are most likely to have success from the people that are less likely?
Yes.
And the answer, no.
Of course, they don't care. Yeah, I know. They don't care.
And I was like, what? And then, there were some reasons that, one of them said, look, it's for the few that make money, it's worth to keep the business going. But none of the answers I got really, felt like, I felt like there's a better way to doing
Of
this.
course. Of course. Yes.
And
you know what? I understand what you're saying. And that's my point. When I brought that up time and time again, we've been doing shows now for about a month now. And I keep saying that people believe the stories that people are telling you that you can succeed like they are. And what I found, I'm going to tell you something that's really interesting, because I would attend these seminars myself. They were for free. I didn't even pay for stuff like that. But I also gave seminars like yourself. But mine was, I worked for, there's a company from Kansas City, SkillPath. I worked for SkillPath for 1 year, and I was like you, touring, okay? But I was teaching soft skills like time management, dealing with difficult people, so those were skills that everyone needs anyways. I wasn't telling them they would be doing well in sales. I wasn't doing the salesy part of it. I was just doing the other parts. So, I felt quite comfortable selling that program, right? But when I used to go to these so-called real estate investments, like you'd have these big guys coming through, and they always sent the underlings. It wasn't the real person coming, right? And they would come and say, well, I have a house here and I have a house there. And then I said, well, can I get your card? Can I get in touch with you? Oh, no, we can't, you're just you just have to go through the company. And when I dug deeper, I found out they didn't own any real estate. They didn't have to. It was just, they were salespeople, Fernando. Big difference between the people who are actually doing it and salespeople. And a lot of these courses are just sales people, not like you and I, investors, because we talk differently, right? We talk different as investors.
Yes. And coming back to the top topic of sales for this conversation here, I think what people are listening can take one of the takeaways can be the importance of having integrity in sales, so that people's gut feelings are happy with what's happening. Because if there's something that is a little off, their gut feeling are going to know. And some of them, if they have their gut feeling aligned with their heart and their mind, they're going to not buy. And if their gut feeling, their intuition is not aligned, they are going to buy, but then they're going to find out that it was, they were not following their gut feeling. So it's, just start, I think having a way to create, I call it customers for life or clients for life. If one was to have a client for life, what would you sell today?
Yes.
Would you sell today? Would you still sell today what you're about to offer? And is it sustainable to have this customer buy again next month or next year? The way the package is priced, or the way the delivery or the goods or services are going to be delivered. So
that's really good. And I like that. And I'll tell you for myself, is the people that came to my courses, either the mastermind or actually the landlord boot camp that I had, they actually ended up buying more than one property. Once they understood how to find the right tenant, then they could buy more than one property and not worry about it. And I always keep in touch with them. I touch base with them. I probably will never sell them anything again, but I am very interested to know what they're doing. How are you doing? Do you have any questions? Get in touch with me. I'm happy to answer any questions for free. So for me, that made me realize that what I'm teaching is really very good, right? Because all of them started to buy more than one property. They just started out with one property and they started to buy more and they started to buy more. And I thought, okay, it's working, whatever I taught them. And they had good tenants on top of that, right? Which is the secret. So I knew what I had taught had worked. But I'm not a salesperson, right? I mean, I can sell, but you know what? It took a lot of effort on my part. And I had coaches like you coming on board and talking. It took a lot of effort. And by the time I finished almost a year of teaching, I couldn't do it anymore. I was exhausted because I gave so much of myself to them. And I thought, you know what? Too much work, not enough pay. So I kind of stopped doing it. So, if somebody one-on-one, if they want to do it, sure, I can do that. But you know what? I prefer to do programs with you, right? I have my radio shows on. Now I have like 4 shows a day on 2 radio stations in the United States. You're going to be my guest many times on my show. I've got on every Thursday at 5 o'clock in another radio station live in Niagara Falls, Canada, and then I have my other things that I do just like you, if that's enough. And I write articles, as you know, I write articles. I have a website. So that's a lot of work on my part. And if people aren't going to appreciate it and they want to go and they go after the shiny things, I'm not shiny. I'm just down to earth. I'll tell you what it's like. I'll tell you what it's about. If you like it, great. If you don't, just nothing off my nose. Not trying to do sales.
I like that. I like that a lot. Since we're talking a little bit about what's some of the things you're doing or some of the announcements, I guess we can do announcements now.
Yeah, of course. Please do.
I'd like to announce that this week I'm starting a financial freedom through real estate mastermind, which Maria will be a guest coach in.
Thank you.
So these are sessions Mondays at 5 p.m. and Thursdays at 11 a.m. And these are California times, Pacific time. So, and you can go to callcoachfernando.com. And in that website, it will be one of the links there for you to become part of that. And there'll be 2 levels, Maria. Yeah. And here's what I'm experimenting with to answer the question I had back in 2009, the question I had for my mentors / peers, which is, what can we do to only allow the people with the highest probability of success to invest into the programs that will be, high investments? What do we need to do? So one solution I came up with is have 2 levels. Level 1 is when people pay something very low investment per month, anywhere from say $100 to more per month. And level 1 is all about working on mindset,
yes,
and working on physical energy and mental energy to gauge when the person is ready to move to level 2, which is deal making. Yeah. So level 1 is all about like doing what is the foundation that needs to be laid so that the beliefs and the futures are now aligning with this person going for their freedom number. And their freedom number is the number they need to have monthly coming in so that their work is optional. So it may be 3,000 a month, 5,000 a month, 10,000 a month. What is the freedom number? So this is something that I'm going to be experimenting with for the people that choose to join this mastermind. Is level 1. Some people will be there for weeks until I feel like, I'm going to invite you to level 2. I think you're ready. Yeah. Which is, do they have the time? Do they have the energy and the mental capacity to do the business?
Are they hungry enough?
Yeah.
And if I could just say something now, I just, you know what? It just escaped me now. I was just going to say something while you were speaking. Okay, if I can suggest, and I tell this to everyone that's in real estate, okay, do not leave your day job. Do not leave your day job. You have to have a day job. Could be part-time, could be full-time. And you're like if they're going to be taking coaching from you, Fernando, or myself, they do that on the side. They still have to have money coming in to pay their bills every day, because it's going to be anywhere from 5 to 10 years. And I'm going to tell you this, I know you don't want to hear this, before they're able to rely on their business to become the central part of their business. In the meantime, you have to feed, if you have a family, you have to feed a family, you have to pay rent. You cannot build a business if you don't have your feet firmly on the ground and you're comfortable financially. Because if you think your business is going to give you the money at the very beginning and you can go rah, rah, rah all you want, it's not going to do it. It's like, I think a lot of people are in this la la land that think that all they have to do is say, I'm going to make $1 million. Well, do you know how many things you have to learn to make $1 million? You really think $1 million are on a tree? You know how many lessons you have to learn before you make your first $1 million and keep the first $1 million, like it takes time. And this new generation doesn't want to take the time to learn, Fernando. It takes time and it takes strategy. So for someone to come into a course and think that within a year they're going to make the first $1 million, there's no reality in it. Maybe they're going to make maybe $200 a month to begin with, and then maybe $300 the next month. But they've got to learn. They have so many, like just what you and I were talking about right now. That's just the beginning. That's nothing, like, how do you become a marketer? Not everyone's born a marketer, right?
Right.
Not everyone knows how to sell. Some people are so shy, they can't even talk to you on the phone. Like we're dealing with things that take steps. And of course, I know you have a whole bunch of books you can suggest they read. I have a whole bunch of books I suggest they read. They need to educate themselves, basically.
Yeah, and through that education, they transform into a new person, and then they read a different chapter, a new chapter, and then they transform again.
Yes.
And then they come and talk with you, and then they have some feedback.
Again.
They transform again. So it's this continuous transformation while they still have the same people in their lives. So it's a game of transforming to a new person while managing relationships with parents, with kids,
with family.
So it's like evolving while maintaining what one already has.
And can I just point out something that I've noticed? Most people come into their own rights financially in the latter part of their 40s and early 50s. So for someone to think that they're in their 30s and I haven't made it yet, no, it's going to take you probably 20 years for you to learn about yourself and learn how you work, what your goals are, whatever else. Like a lot of real estate investors come into their own in their 50s. Because like myself, I started investing in real estate at 49. Like I bought my first house when I was 38, okay? And that was late, but I had other things. I went to school in Europe, and then I started a business in New York City, right? All of that came in. And slowly in my 30s and 40s, I started to say, okay, I've been reading books, I've been going to courses, I've been teaching, Now I'm 49. Okay, let's get serious at 49. How do I make the best and fastest amount of money? Real estate. But I found a mentor right away. I went to courses. I was reading. I was going to Toronto 2 or 3 times or 4 times a month. I was serious about that.
Yeah.
But it took me that long. Not that I wasn't making money before that, Fernando, just like you were, right? But when I got serious was then. And then I found the mentor, and it just exploded after that, right? And I've learned, and I made many mistakes, and I learned along the way. but I was serious. Like I took that very seriously. I think
Y-
that's the secret.
Yeah, I think so too. You know, something happened where you decided or you chose
Yeah.
to really do something different.
Yes.
And
It's
something I
time.
saw in a movie yesterday is if I want something different, I need to do something different.
Yeah.
And that's what you did.
Yeah. If you always do this, the thing that you've done, you'll always get the things you've gotten, right? There's a saying about that, right? And,
Yeah.
and there's so much truth to that. How can like what is insanity? Well, when you keep doing the same thing and expecting things to be different, that's insane. That's insanity. Because
Yeah.
it's never going to change. If you don't change, like you can't blame anybody else for you not being rich or or whatever it is that you want, or get a good job or whatever. Look at yourself. Take full responsibility. And I really get tired of people who don't take responsibility for where they're at, what their health is like, how much wealth they have, or just to be happy, right? They blame
Mm.
somebody else for that. No. First thing you learn in real estate, you're responsible.
Yeah.
Just like crypto, I'm in crypto. Guess what? I've been educating myself for about a year and a half, hundreds of hours learning. And I'm not joking, hundreds of hours learning. Before I put the money in there, even a penny, I knew what I was doing, and I found a mentor right away. Found a mentor for that.
I like
See?
that a lot.
See? So that's what you need is say, okay, I need to learn. Where do I learn it? And now you can go on YouTube and learn. You can join courses like you and I have if they want, right? Go on, wherever else you want to go. Listen to podcasts. If you can't afford it at the beginning, listen to podcasts, write things down, and look for a mentor and join courses.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
totally.
Yeah.
Wonderful, Maria. Thank you so much for
My
sharing
pleasure.
this
My
time to,
pleasure.
yeah, this has
Thank
been
you for
fun. I
inviting.
like earlier you were talking about how you've been bringing your plants back inside because now you had snow in Canada yesterday.
Yes, we did.
That's great.
Yeah. How about you with your plant? How are you doing there?
So this is let me look at her name. Dharma. So this is Dharma. I had to look at the tag. I haven't talked to
That's okay.
Dharma
I have
because
that
of
kind
that.
of plant too, eh?
And then one of there's three different
Yeah.
ones here. One is
Yeah.
flow,
I
one is
got like
love,
that.
one is
Yeah,
Dharma.
I've got that exactly.
And
That's
then
right.
behind me is the mother
Yeah.
of Dharma. That one's Karma.
Okay.
And they're doing good.
Yeah.
They're doing good in the weather. It's about 67 degrees Fahrenheit here,
Let me tell you
which in
what the weather.
Celsius could be
Let me tell you what the weather is here. Go ahead. Tell me what it is for
probably
your.
18 degrees where you are.
Okay, let me just see now what we have today. 1 second. Let me go into the weather. Okay. Oh, it's 4 degrees.
4
6 degrees. Yeah, 4 degrees right now.
Celsius.
Celsius, yes.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. So
Yeah, it's cold. It's cold,
that's
but it's
probably
okay. I don't mind going out. Like I went out with my flip-flops because for me, I don't find this cold, right? I mean, for me. But as long as you know what it is, as long as the sun is out, then I'm okay, right? As long as the
okay.
sun is out. So I was out this morning taking care of my plants, bringing them in, getting them ready. So I'll enjoy them all winter long, and then in the spring I take them out again.
I like that. I like
Yeah.
that a lot. Well, enjoy the winter with flip-flops as long as there's
Thank you.
sunshine out.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. And you too. Okay. And listen, if anyone wants to get in touch with me, you can call me 437-600-6860 or send an email at realwealth@live.ca and join us next Monday, 2 o'clock. And we're going to have a clubhouse going on too, aren't we, Fernando?
Yes, we need to
That's the
figure
next thing
out
in
how
the future.
to do Zoom and Clubhouse at the same time without
Yeah.
echo.
Yeah. Maybe we need earphones. Maybe we need a headset or something like that. Maybe as simple as
Oh,
that.
yes,
Maybe.
actually. So, Maria, so let's end the streaming, but if you can stay for a
Yes,
couple of minutes so
please
we
do.
can test that. So
Yes,
for
let's do
everyone
that.
listening, watching, thanks for tuning in. Place your comments below if you have any takeaways from this conversation as far as sales, or if you have suggestions of topics you like to hear in the more subtopics in the topics of sales. Like, what do you need? What do you need most right now in your life, in your business to increase sales. So let us know below. Get in touch with Maria, and I'll stop the recording and streaming right now.